Hello everybody. I'm going to present you briefly a paper originated from the TOURAL project. The title is Participatory Approaches and Multidimensional Models Fostering Underwater Cultural Heritage as a Corroborating Enabler for Sustainable Tourism Development in Rural Regions. Just a few words about the project. The title is New Tourism Models for the Sustainable Development of Rural and Remote Areas in Europe. So it's the acronym is TOURAL. The project is supported through the Horizon Europe program, the Cluster 2 Heritage call for proposals. It started this year in 2024 in January, and it will finish end of 2026. So it has a duration of 36 months, and the budget of the project is around 3 million, where 20 partners from 9 countries. Okay, a few words about the consortium before I step into the juicy part of the presentation, the challenges that we address through this project, the objectives that we have, the vision, and then I will close with a few words about the methodology that we follow and the sites that we have. Okay, so from Greece, it's we have CERT and the International Hellenic University, and as research and academia partners. From the public sector, we have 2 municipalities, Alonisos and Skopelos, and from the private sector, it's the company I work for, Atlantis. From Bulgaria, we have again, as a public actor, the municipality of Nessebar, and private entities are the Tourism Association of Burgas and an NGO, the Balkan Heritage Foundation. From Croatia, we have regional authorities at Zadranova. From Italy, we have one region, the region of Abruzzo, and then the province of Teramo as public sector entities, and an NGO, Itaka. From Romania, we have an association of local actors in the Danube Delta. And from Ukraine, we have 2 partners, one public partner, the National Ecological Center of Ukraine, and an NGO, a civil organization. Then we have a horizontal partner from France, without any local site as a tourism destination, the Aix-Marseille University, and we have a few international entities that participate in the consortium, such as the Conference of Peripheral Maritime Regions, CPMR, the European Federation of Rural Tourism, and then 2 international organizations, but scoped at the level of Black Sea. One is BCThubs, that deals with financial cooperation with the countries in the Black Sea, and a think tank of the Black Sea, the International Center for Black Sea Studies. Now, let's see what were the challenges behind the idea of TOURAL. TOURAL, as I said in the beginning, focuses on European rural and remote areas. So, in this context, what are the main challenges that we have identified and proposed the specific project? 5 main challenges. The first one relates to the underdeveloped infrastructures in these areas and the lack of employment opportunities, which of course results in brain drain and moving of people to urban areas for abroad. The second one relates to the clear need, recognized need, to diversify economic activities in these areas, apart from agriculture, farming and forestry. The third one has to do with the limited touristic offerings and the lack of data-driven tourism services. This links also to the digital transition in tourism. So these areas have a disadvantage by default for this transition. Then there is a need for regional strategies supporting socio-economic and environmental sustainability of tourism. And the last one, which is increasingly important for these areas, is the limited awareness and the capabilities to pursue funding opportunities that exist at European or national level. So it's not only awareness, the challenge, but also to find the right tools or the right teams to help the tourism actors to pursue, prepare proposals, and then try to get some funding. So what is our response with respect to these challenges? So the chief objective of the project is to drive sustainable socio-economic growth in rural and remote areas in two sea basins or macro regions, Adriatic, Ionian, and Black Sea, through a multidimensional tourism development model, fostering underwater cultural heritage as a corroborating enabler for sustainable tourism growth in these areas. This is the main objective, the global objective of the project. So, our work in this project spans across several levels. The first one is strategic level. It has to do with sustainability assessment, joint planning, strategies, joint promotion, action plans, and roadmaps, and things that can be considered strategic for these regions. Then, working at the policy-making level, in terms of new policy pathways that we plan to design for these regions, coupled with policy-driven interventions like policy briefs, policy roundtables, and collaboration with policymakers. That's the second level of our work. The third level is the financing level. So we want to support new or existing value chains in tourism in these areas and offer them one-stop shop for facilitating financing. The other level of work is very important and links to the local capital, human capital. So it has to do with stakeholders' capacity building. So we plan to work with engagement of stakeholders, management of conflicting interests, training workshops, and things like this. And the last, but probably one of the most important levels, is the business planning level. We're talking about tourism, financial activity. So we want to design multi-destination and diversified tourism packages and tourism models for each one of the TOURAL destinations. So this is just an overview of what we plan to do in TOURAL to achieve the big objective. Now, let's see particular objectives in the project. These are clustered in terms of our vision, what we want to achieve. So, depending on the vision, particular vision, we have specific objectives pursued. The first one has to do with the design, implementation, planning, and validation. So, two are the objectives linked to this vision. First one, design of multidimensional tourism development models. and the second one, pilot implementation planning and small-scale validation with the help of the local communities. For the second aim, to improve the environment in terms of policy, business, and financing, the two objectives is to design policy pathways and improve the tourism financing environment, and the second one, business modeling and design of tourism products. And for the last aim, the digital transformation of tourism in these areas, which of course is linked to ICT enablers and data-driven tourism services, we have two specific objectives to pursue. The first one relates to the development of two artificial intelligence empowered tools that balance the incoming tourism flows and the demand with regional capacities and impact. So we have on one hand the incoming tourist flows in urban or rural regions, and we want, using artificial intelligence and deep learning, to balance this with the actual capacities in the regions. So that's the idea. And the second one is to design first and then design and implement a tourism data space, an embryonic data space, I would say, in each of the 6 TOURAL destinations, and then a consolidated tourism data space that will enable the provision of data-driven ICT tourism-related services. So, these are the objectives. Let's take a look at the basic points of our methodological approach. So, the first point, work at macro region and sea basin level. On one hand, we have Adriatic Ionian, and on the other hand, we have Black Sea. And the scoping within this is evidently regional, but since we want to work at multi-destination level, we involve also cross-border cooperation. The second main point of the methodology is to foster underwater cultural heritage in each of the TOURAL regions and sites as a corroborating enabler for sustainable tourism growth. When I say corroborating enabler, automatically means that there are also other enablers that corroborate the same, let's say, aim. So, from one side we have underwater cultural heritage, and then from the other side we have the other enablers, which are niche sectors in tourism. So it's cultural and creative tourism, cultural science tourism, and silver tourism. These are the 4 tourism niche sectors which participate in the multidimensional model of TOURAL. So, underwater cultural heritage, and then other 3 complementary or corroborating tourism sectors. Next important point in our methodology is the participatory approaches. Participatory approaches in terms of co-working with local communities. That's, let's say, the cornerstone of our approach apart from the multidimensional model. The cornerstone is also the participatory approaches working with local communities. So we have already established living labs in all the TOURAL destinations, and we have started working with local communities, first co-design strategies and pathways, and afterwards designing the products and the business models. So we're talking about co-design in this respect, co-design, co-develop, and then at the end co-validate with the local communities. The last the last main point in our methodology relates to the human and the ambient environment. So we're talking about the human capital in terms of awareness, rising, and capacity building, reskilling, upskilling of the local communities that are involved in tourism in these areas. And the ambient environment with respect to the underlying policies, that is the policy pathways that we want to design, that I explained in the previous slides. The tourism packages, the business part of the environment, facilitation of value chains and their financing, that's the financial part of the environment. And then the digital enablers, that's the digital transformation part of the environment. So this is our methodology in a nutshell. Now a few words about the pilot sites. In Greece, the pilot site involves the region of North Sporades, Alonsos, Skiathos, Skopelos, Skiathos as an urban cluster, and Alonsos, Sporades as rural grid cells. In Italy, we have as a pilot site, and of course as a tourism destination that we aspire to achieve at the end. It's the province of Teramo. In Croatia, we have the island of Pag, which has significant underwater cultural heritage. Also in Italy and in Greece. In Greece, you've seen also the previous presentation from the University of Thessaly about the underwater cultural heritage dimension there. In Bulgaria, we have Nesebar, again with very important underwater cultural heritage. In Romania, we have the area of the Danube Delta. And in Ukraine, we have the Kuchurub rural region. A little bit of problematic at the moment because it's in Russian territory currently. So we hope to find a solution next year to find ways to work with the region or to find another region. For the moment, there is no work going on in this region of the project. I think that concludes my presentation. Then the last slide is about some cultural heritage highlights about North Sporades. I think you've seen a lot previously. We're talking about the Underwater Museum of the Teristera Classical Era shipwreck. You saw the details in the previous presentation. In Bulgaria, we have Nesebar, where it's the submerged Mesambria, ancient fortifications, 500 to 300 BC. There are shallow waters depth, 5 meters, if I remember correctly, and the ancient harbors of Nesebar. That's just an indication. I didn't prepare detailed slides for all the TOURAL destinations. Okay, now the last slide is about our social presence. So if you are interested, you can follow TOURAL in the social media. You can visit the website. You can subscribe to our newsletters. Whatever. You can see the QR code, so you can see all the details in one place. Okay, that's it. These are the partners. I think this concludes my presentation. Thank you.